going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another week of the Clone Wars. We are now only one episode away after this. One episode away from the finale of the Clone Wars. This episode was called Shattered. So like I just mentioned, only one more episode after this. I can't believe that we are about to near the finale, the true finale to the Clone Wars. This episode was absolutely amazing. As usual, I will be talking about spoilers as if you've been watching the season and as if you've already seen this episode. So that is your warning. But yeah, right out of the gate, this is the episode we finally got to see Order 66 happen on the Clone Wars. Say what you will about the earlier part of this season, these last couple episodes, these last few episodes, the Siege of Mandalore, just beautiful. It's been completely amazing to see the complete tie-in to Revenge of the Sith and giving us that complete connective tissue into Revenge of the Sith that we've wanted all this time. And I am just so excited to see what this final episode is going to be. I honestly have no idea what it's going to be. And this episode was just such a great time to watch. So many beautiful moments between characters, great music, using music from Revenge of the Sith, and of course, again, Order 66. The order from Palpatine to have all the clones kill all of the Jedi. The big emotional scene from Revenge of the Sith. Just a huge, crazy thing that happens in Star Wars lore. The Jedi Purge. I was always curious to see if they were actually going to dive into the actual events of Revenge of the Sith with this final season. And it was clear with the last few episodes that that's exactly where we were headed. And yeah, right out of the gate, this episode essentially starts off. They have Maul still in custody. Ahsoka saying bye to bo-katan and the rest of the Mandalorians. And they're going to take Maul back to the Grand Republic on Coruscant. Ahsoka hops into a hologram meeting with Yoda, Mace Windu, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and Aayla Secura right after a conversation that they actually had that's in Revenge of the Sith. I loved hearing that. You get to hear so many hints and nods to the events of Episode 3, including the whole scene where Mace Windu gets killed and, you know, where Anakin ends up chopping off Mace Windu's hand and ends up joining Palpatine. Yeah, they had that scene in there. You can hear the voices from the actual movie, which was really exciting. And that moment was great because Ahsoka could sense what was happening, the emotion there. I'm sorry if I'm a little scattered. I'm just so excited from this episode. There was so much to take in and so much to listen to. This will not be a breakdown video of all the full events. It's all right here in my head, and I'm just trying to make something of it. But yeah, on an overall level, again, stunning animation. This really pushed the narrative forward as usual, as it continually has the last few episodes. I'm just so excited to see what this final episode is and just the bow on top of the Clone Wars. This series and this season has been a blessing, truly. I am just so grateful to be able to have this season that's really giving us that final connective tissue from Attack of the Clones to Revenge of the Sith that's really just giving us layers and layers and layers of the prequel era of Star Wars. And yeah, honestly, as you can tell, I love this episode. I had such a great time with it. I love that moment, again, where Ahsoka realizes that something's going wrong. And once she finds out what's going on and the clones start turning on her, that moment where Captain Rex, who, if you guys, you know, obviously if you guys are watching this, you know, Captain Rex and Ahsoka leading into Rebels and everything, they have such a close bond. Ahsoka and Rex, I just love their bond. I've always loved it. And so to see this moment was truly powerful because Rex ends up, you know, getting the order like everybody else, and he turns around and he's got tears streaming down his face and he points his guns up at her, and you can tell he's fighting it, you know. And that's something I really, really wanted to see them play on, because in the movies, the clones are just, you know, they're just helmeted guys and they don't really have as much personality as we've been able to see them get, and how much character development they've gotten in this series. So to see that moment where one of the most beloved clones that has had so much development is about to kill one of the most beloved characters in the series, somebody that he truly loves, I loved being able to see him fight it, trying to really, really fight it back. Right when Captain Rex is about to shoot Ahsoka, he's got the tears streaming down his face. He tells her that she needs to look for fives or look for the events that had to do with fives. And that goes back to the events during the 6th season with fives, where he essentially does find out about the chip that's in his head, the inhibitor chip, and that there's something going on there, and fives knew something, you know. And Captain Rex reported on it, and Ahsoka's able to dive a little bit deeper into it and find out that all the clones have this inhibitor chip. She ends up getting the inhibitor chip out of Rex in this episode, and so I'm really excited to see what this final episode is going to be. I'm assuming it's going to have to do a lot with Ahsoka and Rex faking their deaths and going into hiding, and I just really cannot wait to see what that episode looks like. I'm expecting emotion. This episode was emotional. There were so many great tense moments. They had the music from Revenge of the Sith in there to really just dive into the weight of what's going on right now with Order 66. Again, love seeing Ahsoka be a part of all this. And of course, like I mentioned, Darth Maul was in captivity and they were bringing him to the Republic. In the midst of all this, Ahsoka goes and frees Maul, and essentially he thinks they're going to team up. She tells him, I don't really care what you do. I'm just kind of using you as a diversion. you're not going to be able to beat me, and I'm not going to give you a chance to win in this situation, but you can go and do whatever you want to do, because I'm going to do what I got to do to get out of here. So I love that attitude from Ahsoka. You know, it really goes to show what the difference between somebody being a Jedi and somebody being a Force user like Ahsoka, who at the end of the day just has to do what she has to do, and her beliefs are different. And I've always really loved that about Ahsoka's character, especially when you see where Ahsoka goes in the next story in canon, which is the Ahsoka novel, and then of course we know her events in Star Wars Rebels. So yeah, this was just a beautiful episode. I love seeing Darth Maul going through here trying to escape, literally ripping panels out of the side of the ship to hold them up and deflect shots, throwing them, decapitating and dismembering some of the clones with different parts of the ship. So badass just to see Darth Maul at his absolute best and just coming out there just destroying everybody with all the strength that he has. It's so awesome. This has all really come full circle, and I just love it so much. I feel like I'm rambling a lot on this review, and I think it's just because I'm just so excited. It's also 4 in the morning, and maybe not the best time to do a well thought out review, but with these videos I kind of just want it to be, you know, my feelings, you know, and that's kind of what Star Wars always has been for me. Feelings. Well, how does it make you feel? You know, like that. It doesn't always have to be perfect, but if it made me feel something, if it gives me chills, if it makes me feel attached to something, I'm all in. And I think that this episode did exactly what I want Star Wars to do. It pushed the narrative forward. It gave us connective tissue to other things. There was a sense of stakes. It gave me connective tissues to the things I already know and love, references, as well as new context. That's something I always love about new Star Wars things. It's giving you a new outlook on different things that happen in the Star Wars universe, and I think that this episode did exactly that. So I can stop rambling. Yeah, they leave this off with Ahsoka and Rex trying to figure out what they're gonna do, and you know, Ahsoka and Rex realizing this is everybody. Like, all the clones are doing this right now. So as far as we know in this time, everybody's getting killed. Everybody's probably already been killed at this point. So I am really excited to see what this final episode is going to be, where Ahsoka and Rex are going to go, and how that's going to tie into the events that we already know of their story later on. So yeah, guys, obviously I love this episode. Sorry for the rambling and the discombobbled review, but I had such a great time with this episode. There's so much here for a Star Wars fan. If you've seen the episode, you know that this episode was emotional. It was beautifully well done. Yeah, guys, and I will see each and every single one of you guys in the next one for the final episode of the Clone Wars next week. May the Force be with you.